And then there were none. The end. Signed, Dame Agatha Christie. If only things were so simply wrapped up as an Agatha Christie novel. Welcome, friends, to another Colonial Theatre watch party. My name is Chuck Fransisco. I am your film host for this watch party, and I'm one of the film hosts at the Colonial Theatre. Our film this evening is 1945's And Then There Were None, directed by Renee Clare. You should know that this is based on the Agatha Christie novel from 1939. I should say Dame Agatha Christie. This is the world's best-selling mystery novel of all time. It sold more than 100 million copies. It's been adapted for the screen more times than I can count on one hand, which is to say, I can count it on both hands. It's been adapted for the screen 9 times on top of this evening's film's adaptation. On top of that, it's also been adapted for numerous radio, stage, and television projects. It's probably the most influential film genre how-to guide manual ever made, in that every film that you've ever seen that is a big mansion or old house and a bunch of strangers are thrown together and they mysteriously begin to get knocked off one by one in macabre ways or grisly, interesting fashion, that film owes a great debt of its DNA to And Then There Were None and its numerous adaptations. Consider for a moment all of the films that fall under that scope. I can think of 2 that are on my top 20 films of all time list right off the top of my head, which is A House on Haunted Hill, which is very much like this, the film's plot. And then additionally Clue, the 1980s comedy, pretty much is a skeletal carbon copy of And Then There Were None, but with dramatic comedic flair and really crazy zany 3-ending structure. You should look that up if you haven't seen it before. Before we jump into the film, it's my responsibility as your film host and guide for this evening's watch party to talk about context, specifically historical context. I'm going to refer to my notes a few times here. There's just important things in here that I don't want to miss. So no offense intended. If you look away a little bit and then back up at me, that'll be fine. Yep, got it, good. Perfect. So let's talk about context and offensive language. This film could potentially contain situations or turns of phrases which we know today to be offensive and or unacceptable. This exhibition should be taken as a historical and educational context, and in that context with which we're presenting it, which is to teach, to consider, and to learn from. The novel's central plot and original title are based on a highly offensive and macabre nursery rhyme, which itself comes from a minstrel show song. So already we're starting with a pedigree of content that we find offensive and objectionable now, and then the film is based on top of that. So you have to imagine that you're going to have to come into this with a little bit of historical perspective, if you will. We encourage our audiences to do their own research and to always strive to continue learning and expanding their horizon. And it's one of the reasons that we decided to show this to you this evening, to further contextualize Agatha Christie herself and her body of work. Allow me to quote Sadie Stein in noting that, quote, Christie's work is not known for its racial sensitivity, and by modern standards, her work is rife with casual Orientalism. This is from a 2016 BBC documentary on the novel and the works that have sprung from it. If you're interested in finding that, I'm sure you wouldn't have too much of a problem locating it online. So, with that all being said, please allow me again to thank you for joining us for a Colonial Theatre watch party screening. We miss all of you so much. Believe me, I speak for all of the staff and volunteers that we wish that we could have you in our house watching movies right now. We encourage you to continue engaging with us. Our marquee pun contest has been just wonderful. Please make sure to submit your suggestions. Please keep sharing the links around for both the watch parties and for all of our different content. And if you are able to, please do donate at the link that you'll see pop up and offered around the watch parties. So, again, my name is Chuck Fransisco, and I thank you for joining us. Now, let's all enjoy 1945's And Then There Were None.